as a resource of information that's been that has cultural references that we recognise and understand how to take that information and use it, in our daily lives. We've not been able to do that necessarily because some of the information, or a lot of the information, has been published, but it's from a different cultural perspective. And so it doesn't necessarily have let's say, it's not provided in a way that we can actually connect with. So it's important for us to have direct access to the raw information, the raw data that was collected. We are looking at ways to build community capacity in order for our communities to engage with collecting institutions and negotiate the return of the information. That's something that collecting institutions need to understand, that is something that's coming, because we need to be able to relate to that information, and it's hard to do that in a foreign place. It needs to go back to country. There are no necessarily facilities at the moment on country for people to access the information. It's probably a good interim measure to provide the online access at this time. But until the information comes back to country, we will not be able to use it in the way that is relevant to us. For that reason, I like to do as much as I can to connect Aboriginal communities in other states with the material about them in the State Library of Victoria, information that was collected by Victorian people travelling interstate in the colonial period and up to the 50s and 60s as well. It does take quite a bit of research and time and effort, conversations over, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, and sometimes years. But the outcome for people is so heartening, I guess, to be able to work to give that information back to them. That I would like to be able to, I would like to see, a national, a kind of a national view or a national action, so that you all are working, with another nation. We are Aboriginal people. We consider ourselves to be a sovereign nation, so it's important that you see us that way too. I've got a collection that I'm working with at the moment, a photographic collection that was created by a photographer called Percy Spuyten. he went up to the Northern Territory and he took a lot of photographs across the big stations and a lot of them are Aboriginal people. And we had a request for use of one of those photos actually in mid last year, and it took me a long time to actually find the people who were related to one particular man in a photograph that was requested. And when that connection was made, we were able to talk about the entire collection then with the people who were related to the Aboriginal people working on these stations. So that's still ongoing. And because of some work that they're doing locally, this is from Nicholson Station in the Northern Territory, but because of the work that the people there are doing themselves, it means that they now have another whole group of photographs to add to their project. I want to say that the permissions program is, for the most part, welcomed by everybody. Sometimes, people who are, working, researching particular areas of Aboriginal people, at first they're a bit annoyed by the process, but actually it is such an enriching experience that they're quite happy that they've gone through it in the end. We had one that took 2 years actually to complete, and everyone was very happy with the outcome in the end. And I'd like to just say that I'll just finish on the fact that we do between July 2014 and June 2013, we completed about 200 cultural permissions requests.
And we've got a focus on Aboriginal employment, but we really want to spread our work out